But as you know, no football game can start until there's a coin toss. Let's get it going. Okay. So this week for the coin toss, we definitely want to talk real quickly about coaches. For those of you who may not be aware, Matt Rule was let go. Hello, Sydney. Sydney's in there as well. We appreciate that. Matt Rule was let go by the Panthers after a really bad start this year. I mean, this was a guy who was on a major contract, 7 years. He only got 2.5, but they still owe him $40 million. So really, Matt Rule doesn't really have to do anything but sit at home and twiddle his thumbs and eat bonbons on the couch. But this begs the
he got the
question.
Bobby Bonilla deal.
Yeah, exactly. Gets $1 million every year, right, for the next 40 or whatever. But yes, for sure. Matt Rule let go. I mean, this does beg the question, though. And Handy, I'll start with you, sir. Was this warranted? Was this too soon, too late? What do you think about Matt Rule getting the okay in there?
Too soon, too late. This should have been. Look, this is almost like when you have that family member. They come out and tell everybody that they got a drug problem. We're like, baby, we all been knowing you had a drug problem. They should have been done this. They should have done this a minute ago. Matt Rule was just not. He wasn't like Cedric the Entertainer say his curl didn't quite curl all the way around. He wasn't quite there for the you know what I mean? And Nate brings up exactly what I was getting ready to get at. I was going to mention that because he asked me about that yesterday. I don't think he was fit for coaching pro ball. Pro ball and college ball are two different animals. And
yes, they are.
That's my thing. He couldn't. I mean, dude, look, couldn't spell cat if you spotted him C and A. That's how good a coach he was.
All right, there you go.
Hey, and I just wanted to add for the record, Nick, because you asked me how I was doing. I just wanted to say for the record that I am very happy to be here.
And there it is. The show can now go on because then we finally got the official Anthony Handy seal of we can keep moving here, folks. Now, Delilah, of course, Matt Rule was fired, but there's other coaches on the hot seat and a couple of names that I found interesting. So I'm going to ask you about a couple of these because one is a former Bears player of ours and a certain coach of the Washington Commanders. So, producer Sean, you might want to go away for about 3 minutes while we bag on your boy. But doesn't it seem like Ron Rivera might be in line for a firing as well if Washington can't turn the ship around here?
Yes, but will they fire him? I don't know. I mean, to be fair to him, he's not like he didn't sign Carson Wentz, That was a front office decision, you know what I mean? So at the same time, right. So when he had his when he spoke truth from his soul, when they asked him the question, right? What do the other teams in the NFC East have that they don't? And he literally just said quarterback. Like there was no hesitation. Like it was just like
in his whole chest.
Yeah, he just said quarterback, and he didn't walk back that answer. He hasn't, usually like they'll come back, next day, like, oh, it's not what I meant to say. It's blah, 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 blah. None of that has happened, and I agree with him though. Like when you have someone like Scary Terry, right? I'm sure he apologized to the team, but I bet you he doesn't disagree with what he said.
Right.
I said it. I meant it, but I'm sorry.
I feel like when you have someone like Scary Terry, which we talk about all the time, right? When you have how is he supposed to grow and shine if he doesn't have that you know what I mean? Like, how are we supposed to grow that guy if he doesn't have that franchise quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, O-line problems. They got a few problems there in Washington that they've been dealing with.
But at the same time, if you don't have just that connection, like anytime I see them out there, I don't feel like I don't see that. I don't know. I don't see that meshing. And I know we talk about O-line all the time because, and they're not the only team that's dealing with those, with those O-line issues. I feel like a lot of guys have gone down. We've talked about last week, there's over 200 injuries, right?
Yeah,
and they just
exactly.
They just keep piling up. So
That they
But
do.
I don't. Will Dan Snyder fire him? I don't know. He likes him though, right? So that's sometimes
Well,
too.
he's a good guy, but yeah. But
No,
does
I
that
know, but
translate? He's a
no, but I
guy, but
feel no. You're right, but like it's coming from someone who comes from an organization that doesn't know how to hire anybody.
right, that's
So,
true.
or we'll stick to somebody for like a million years, even though we're like, hey, like it's probably time to jump ship. I don't know if he'll actually get fired. You know what I mean?
I mean, he may not, but I just feel like
Is
something's
he
got
on
to
the hot
happen
seat?
there.
I
It's a
just
lot of
don't
times.
see that.
I mean, okay, no, that's fair. I mean, if you, I just, he's a name being mentioned, just in that sense. Like, also, there's a couple other names which I find interesting. Frank Reich, took over in Indianapolis a few years ago, and Frank is not doing well. He went through Carson Wentz as well, and now he's got Matt Ryan, and they're struggling on offense. They lost Jonathan Taylor for a couple of weeks. We don't know exactly how long he'll be out. But also Josh McDaniels, and again, McDaniels is an interesting one to me because he goes to the Raiders, right? He finally takes this head coaching job, and he's got they get Devontae Adams, they bring him in. You got Hunter Renfro. Josh Jacobs is on fire this year. The guy's been running his butt off. You got Derek Carr. I mean, yeah, the defense may, but but you still got Max Crosby, a couple of these other guys, and they're just not winning. Like you can say whatever you want. You're 1-4 in one of the, and what we thought would be one of the toughest divisions this year in football, and you just can't get over the hump. And then we can argue the coaching decision yesterday about not trying to kick the extra point with 4 minutes left. It's not like it was the end of the game. You could have tied the game and then stopped them on defense, which you did, and you did get the ball back. So, a lot of things going on there. Again, there's always, we could talk about this forever about coaching speculation and that, but I just wanted to touch on that a little bit with Rule getting fired. So we will be keeping an eye on this situation. And of course, if anyone else gets fired, we will definitely bring that up and talk about that. Now let's go ahead. Sydney says at one point they had Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Matt LaFleur all on their coaching staff. They knew how to hire at one point. Well, somehow, Sydney, they forgot because now it's just not working for them at all. But I get your point, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's do the opposite side of the coin. And to me, this is what I like to talk about. I know it's early. We're only 5 games in, but potential coaches of the year. And for me, and I'll ask you guys maybe your opinion, but there's 3 guys, and they kind of all come from the same division. But early coach of the year candidates, right? Brian Daboll possibly in New York for what the Giants are doing at 4-1. Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia with the Eagles being 5-0. And of course, the coach the coach that everybody loves to hate, but the guy's 4-1 with a backup quarterback, Mike McCarthy in Dallas. What do you guys think of those early coach of the year candidates? Delilah, we'll start with you.
I've actually been seeing those tossed around as well, and I think the one that I see elevated the most is Brian Daboll, and I think the reason is because we remember the Giants for the last few seasons, right? We've seen them completely collapse, have problem years after years, had solid guys up and down, right? Saquon Barkley, he's been like key, and so like, I see why he's a front runner. Like I get why, of course, your 5-0 is going to be up there, and you're 4-1. But I think the reason I've been seeing Brian Daboll more is because he took a, crap team. You know what I mean?
Because Daniel Jones is his quarterback. Is that what you're saying, Delilah?
Yes, with Daniel Jones as quarterback, they're winning football games, right? You know what I mean? And I think that you have to give him credit on some of those plays that he does, right? Like he can't, regardless of what anybody thinks. Again, as someone who's been stuck in the same division as Green Bay and Mr. Aaron Rodgers for like a decade now, when you could come back against Matt LaFleur and beat like Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers, that to me is huge, especially when they had the lead on you, right? So so I think that those last few plays that he did that got them that W. I could see why Brian Daboll is up there, right? Why he's above a 5-0 Eagles and a 4-1 Dallas team. But I could see why those 3 names are. But I could see why Brian Daboll is really up there. So
okay, Handy, what about you? What do you think? Early on favorites. You got someone else in mind, or what do you think of these 3? Oh, can't hear you, buddy. Better take that mute button off.
Sorry, I am
extremely. Hey, now that's all right.
I am extremely impressed with what has been. Hello there, this is your guy, Mr. Fingers from WKYL.
Hey, are you distracted, bro? Like, I'm just asking. I don't want, I don't like to get in the middle of stuff, but Like, did your wife all of a sudden pop at the door and want to talk to you about something?
No, what? What? No,
I'm just giving you crap, bro.
Man, stop, man. Look, you got me last week with Shannon Sharp. That's good. Okay. That's good. We good. We good. I'm like Kevin Hart.
We good.
I'm like Kevin
Hart.
Hart. We good?
Yeah.
We good? No, I'm just playing.
We good? Okay.
No,
Sure.
I have been extremely impressed with what I have seen out of the NFC East with those three teams this year. Dallas, I expected them to, patch together, to go lick their wounds because they did have some guys who were beaten, banged up at the end of the season. But I did expect them to lick their wounds to come back firing on all cylinders after the year that they had last year. Philadelphia, a lot of people are going, oh my God, Philadelphia. People act like Philadelphia wasn't just. I know they don't have the Philadelphia wasn't just in the Super Bowl a while ago.
Right.
Okay. So the base was there. And now the Giants, oh my God. After somebody just pulled the battery pack out of Eli and he just ran out of gas and he just seriously he was like that toy that was just hanging on, and Tom Coughlin was on the sidelines looking constipated. And seriously, like the Giants, it just seemed like they were pretty much done. But dude, when somebody told me when I found out last week the Giants were 3-1, I went, what?
Yeah.
I know it's early. I know it's early in the season, but I'm used to the Giants from a few years ago at this point being like week 7, like the Giants won their first game of the season.
Right. I got you. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Definitely. Everything Delilah said about New York, I'm 100% on board. I'm not necessarily a fan because that's another team that beat the Falcons out of the playoffs. There's a long list of them, folks. Just get ready to hear me say that
at
a given point. But yes, I'm 100%. I'm 100% with what Delilah said. The Giants. Wow, Dallas. I'm always expecting them to reload and have a great season, maybe not make it into the playoffs or win in the playoffs, but I expect Dallas every 3-4 years to have something. Philadelphia is kind of leaning that way now. We expected some things out of Philadelphia, but New York, 100, 100.
No, I hear you. And my 2 cents really, like, I know it's early again, but these are coaches that came up in discussion, of course, and if the Eagles continue, and there's a big matchup obviously this week with the Eagles and Cowboys that might tell a lot for this division. But I mean, Sirianni, right? Like, because Philadelphia, people are like, okay, Jalen Hurts, they weren't sold on him, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's not going to be as good, but they did bring in A.J. Brown, that sort of thing. And then they've shown so far, and again, they've had a couple of close games, but the fact is they've come out on top. Right. And so sitting there at the only undefeated team, it's hard not to be like, Sirianni, you might be doing something right there, my friend. Because a lot of people, some people did. Some people did predict Philadelphia to really go far this year. And other people, and like me, I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong because I kind of saw Philadelphia maybe somewhere in the middle of the division, not exactly at the top, but that's where they are and that's where they sit. So again, it's early, but we like to do these kind of fun things just to kind of get the conversation started and get people talking on the chat, of course, because that's what we like to do is read the comments. Those are most fun.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.